I literally can't believe it. I cannot believe it. I cannot believe it. This, I thought for sure the reviews for Disney's Snow White, hashtag Free Palestine, Orange Man Bad Zegler, would be 90s and 95s across the board. But this is the, I believe, lowest rated reviewed live action remake in Disney history. And it keeps going down. When I saw it last night, when I saw, 49% certified rotten, I was like, there's no way, it has to be like one little review. Well, at the time, it was like 92 reviews. I went back to it today. It's gone down with over 100 reviews. It now sits at a 47%. There is no, usually what happens is Disney will pay a bunch of Disney shills to leave reviews for the movie, and it'll eventually kind of like surge back to certified fresh. But with 101 reviews in, I just don't see it ever getting certified fresh. And the reviews are brutal. Every like you leave on this video, that is one laugh at how bad the score is. By the way, I just want to let everyone know we're giving away a gaming computer as well as Amazon gift cards. And I'm going to try to get like an Xbox and a PS5 Pro. And I'm going to try to get some cool stuff together. We'll be giving stuff away, some coffee, all that stuff, all next week on our live stream. We're moving the time to 2 Eastern, but you don't have to watch it live. You can watch it anytime and enter. All you have to do is be following me over on Rumble. So if you haven't yet, download the Rumble app, follow the quartering. I'm not telling you to quit YouTube. I'm just asking that you watch my live stream on Rumble. We had 50,000 people yesterday, 55,000 people the day before. It's good. Next week is going to be even bigger and even more crazy. And so get in on winning some gaming computer stuff. By the way, if you're in the market for computer, promo code RUMBLE, you'll save at Meta PCs. But for right now, we're just trying to get to 300,000 followers. We're at 292,000. So pull up rumble.com, follow the quartering, or download the app, and then tune in all next week at 2 Eastern. Or later in the day, you can rewatch it for your chance to win and have lots of fun. Now we have 47%. And it's like, what? Well, this can't be right, Well, that's the all critic score. If we want to look at the reviews, let's look at the top critic reviews, okay? These are people who are most likely to shill. Why are they all so negative? I had high hopes for Snow White, that Snow White would make me happy. Instead, this dopey remake made me sleepy and grumpy. The most distracting flaws are rooted in the problematic recreation of animated material. The permanent magic hour lighting is hard to look at. Worst of all, the decision to, quote, cartoonize the dwarves alongside human actors is hugely problematic. So the wokies don't like it. A fascinating case study in today's impossible contradictions. A magic mirror reflecting the tensions of current times. Rotten. Some parts of the film work better than others, but none of it is the sweetness and imagination of the animated feature. The Snow White is not the fairest of them all, just fair. That's from RogerEbert.com. There's nothing magical in Mark Webb's movie, but nonetheless feels uncanny spending $250 million to make a film in which absolutely nothing works. Is kind of a dark art in and of itself. Score 1. With Snow White, they finesse their formula. Do the bare minimum to make a film, then simply slap a bunch of cutesy CGI animals all over it and hope no one notices. 1. A timeless classic, groundbreaking achievement for animation has been turned into another pointless and awkward live-action automation that vanishes from your mind the second it's over. I mean, inject this directly into my veins. Snow White may not be the worst live-action adaptation of the animated touchstone, though it is a strong contender for the blandest. The end result is neither good enough to be a classic or bad enough to be even a guilty pleasure. It just exists. I mean, these are top critics. Top D+. Snow White has been cleansed of anything that would offend. It also lacks anything that would make it memorable. A disorienting take on the film whose success relied as much on elegance as its beauty. And yet, thanks to sunny songstress Rachel Zegler, there is talent through line, but still the movie sucks. I mean, this is like, I mean, this is crazy. This is what you get. I don't know how this woman keeps getting jobs. Her first movie, which was a musical, like lost $100 million. What was it? It was Steven Spielberg. It's a classic musical. I can't think. West Side Story, I think. Lost over $150 million. She was in some Hunger Games prequel that about broke even. And now this movie's going to lose probably $100 to $200 million. And yet they keep casting her. Joe Blow writes, Snow White review, a dull Disney remake. How about the lefty website, The Guardian? 1 star. Disney Snow White review. Disney's exhaustingly awful reboot acts as the prince and makes the dwarves mocap. The title is a description of the page on which Hollywood's ideas get written. Here is a pointless new live-action musical version of Snow White myth, a kind of unwicked approach to the story and a merch-enabling money machine. Where other movies are playful reimagining of backstories of famous villains, this one plays it straight, but with careful, curated revisionist tweaks. These are all too obviously agonizing and backlash second-guessing. But knowing that some basic level, the brand identity had to be kept pristine. This is particularly evident in the costume design, with which the Wicked Witch gets a pointy dark crown and skull-hanging black balaclava, and Snow White is lumbered with supermarket retail tweenie outfit and puffy sleeve shoulders. Those otherwise estimatable performances from Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot are now forced to go through the motions as they are given the dullest performances of their lives. And that's saying a lot. To say that this was Rachel Zegler's worst performance ever, that's got to be saying a lot, because I've never seen her have a good performance. Traditionally, the heroine's name refers to her skin, with lips as red as blood and hair as dark as ebony. Now it simply refers to a snowstorm that accompanied her birth. Zegler's Snow White and loving parents and the king and queen, but after her mother's passing, her father becomes infatuated with the witchy new noblewoman at court. Godot's lips are at all times seductively and contemptuously pursed, but later the king simply vanishes from the story, and the script ties itself into a few pretzels, explaining what is supposed to have happened to him and when. The stepmom witch keeps Snow White in the Cinderella-style serfdom below the stairs, where poor child vainly sympathizes over population's poverty. As Snow White grows up, nobody really cares. There are some changes. The hero is no longer a prince, but a more democratic citizen who leads a Robin Hood-type insurgency from the forest against the witch's tyranny, with Snow White joining in on a Maid Marian basis. But he still gets to do the controversial non-consent kiss once our heroine has gone into her picturesque coma. But the dwarves, well, the film makes them look sort of like everyone else, like Munchkins and Wicked. No, this is brutal. Admittedly, the basic story has a strangeness of its own. The Wicked Queen tries to destroy Snow White while getting the huntsman to stab her, and then tries again by feeding her the poison apple, which has an antidote in the form of a true lover's kiss, and leaving the corpse in the company of people who love her. Weird. This thing is bad, and they try to make it political. The fudged pseudo-progressive approach is so tiring that you want to put your head in your hands. How about this one? Disney Snow White review roundup, exhaustingly awful, 1 star. The Times of London, Disney has trashed its crown jewel. The Guardian, pointless, exhausting. The New York Times, a mediocre remake. The Telegraph, Boston Globe wrote, a misfire, but Zegler shines, of course, because you probably agree with their politics. Empire, a compromised vision. Variety, a politically charged interpretation. A misstep from Disney. I mean, everybody hates this. Why? Because they also cram progressive politics into it, if you can believe it. They actually decided, hey, let's make this movie political. I don't know why, but Snow White is totally about lefty infighting. I actually don't know how to judge these live action Disney remakes on a relative scale of quality. The bar is so incredibly low, and what people seem to want from them. A tickle of nostalgia, a familiar rendered new on a technicality, 109 minutes of child-friendly distraction. Feels so different from the usual standards. So Snow White is not as bad as it could be, while it's not anywhere near good. It's better than, say, 2019's Aladdin, which was awful, but nevertheless made $1 billion. It's garishly ugly and padded out with tunes from Pasque and Paul that are as smooth and unremarkable as river rocks, all of which may or may not matter to its target audience, who could just be basing their decision about whether to see the movie on how unacceptably woke social media has informed them it is. But when the movie itself is also devoid of delight, there is something delightful about getting to actually see the thing after the culture war skirmishes. I mean, this is, something that, if you want to make it about lefty infighting, trans stuff, cool. I have always said, it has a 1.4 on Google reviews, on 400 ratings. 32% of video people even like the movie. Now, again, I don't know how much money this movie's going to make. We're going to have a really clear picture probably Friday after Thursday's preview. So you want to make sure you leave a like on this video and you subscribe or follow to keep up to date on all of this stuff. And don't forget, giving away a gaming computer and much more next week. All you have to do is go follow me on Rumble, download the Rumble app, look up The Quartering, follow me, and tune into my live show, which is at 1 Eastern this week, and then permanently moves to 2 Eastern going after that. You can watch it live or you can watch it later. We have Hannah Claire, Luke Rudkowski, Melanie Mack, Gothic, Styx, and so many more in our rotating cast that I would love for you to tune in. And we have some exciting stuff planned for next week. Hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.